My name is Adalia, and I'm from New Jersey.
I decided to go to law school for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, it was just like the practical thing to do. Get like a postgraduate degree and just be able to make rent on time all the time, hopefully. And the second reason is a little bit more idealistic. I wanted to help the people around me. I wanted to help my community and have the tools and the language equipped to do so if needed to. I guess the biggest thing that happened this year was getting into law school in the first place. I had been working for a couple of years after graduation at a big law firm, and I saw firsthand what a life of a corporate lawyer would be like, and I was just like, hey, I can do this. And then the whole application cycle was definitely took a lot out of me, but I got into my dream school. I don't know, there's so many things. I love my professors. I'm learning so much from my classmates, not even just like about law school stuff, but I think law school just attracts so many different people from so many different backgrounds, and they all have like such interesting stories to tell and just really inspirational backgrounds. But I would say my favorite part would just be the content that's being taught in law school. Like even the subjects that I don't like, as in like I'm really bad at, there's something to learn from it. And I think law is just so instinctual, and it's in times it could be like very moralistic, and everyone has this kind of innate ability to comprehend the law and like see where the logic comes from. So I think it's like really delightful to figure out a lot of that stuff. Like growing up, you always hear about landmark cases or rulings, and as a layperson, your first instinct is to be like, oh, like that's so like effed up. How could the judge rule in such a way? Like, where's the justice in this? Like, where is the logic in this? But going to law school, your mind is opened up to all of these different social and like policy choices that you've never considered before, and it helps you understand why law is the way it is, and that's like really fun too. That's like my favorite part about law school, is to figure that part out.
It's like you're uncovering magic.
Yeah.
The past.
The formulas.
The formulas.
The secret formulas. The idea was definitely put into my head at a very early age. My Asian immigrant parents was very enamored with the thought of having one child go into med school and become a doctor, and another one to become a lawyer. And we always joke that if we had a third sibling, they'd be forced to go into engineering or something. So that was always kind of like the understanding in my family, that I would at least attempt to go into law school since like I was in like elementary or middle school. So that definitely raises a lot of questions as to whether or not I was like socialized into wanting to go into law, or it's something that like was innate. But ultimately, I'm pretty happy with my decision. I think to just manage my time better. Going to law school really taught me that I couldn't just float through life, you know, just taking everything day by day, and like it's okay to like have a lot of fun like with your friends and like figuring things out, but it's also important to just like lock in sometimes. I think ultimately the goal is to leave the world a better place than how you found it, like a net positive. It's pretty cheesy to say so. It's to help the people I love and help the people around me, and that extends both from like a personal goal and like a professional goal.
It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah. Ooh. I used to kind of just like freestyle it. I think coming from like a liberal arts background, studying was just like a foreign concept to me. Yeah, I didn't study much in undergrad. I would just like read material over, and I just kind of coasted by. I think the liberal arts educational model is all about being able to articulate your position clearly and in a way that's convincing and persuasive to the other party. So I remember for one of my finals for my seminars, I literally just created an Instagram page, and that was like the form of my final. The difficult part was convincing my professor that an Instagram page was a suitable method of evaluating as a final. So anyways, I digress. Basically, I didn't really have it figured out, and I still don't really have it figured out. But I think what's important to keep in mind constantly when you're in your day-to-day classes is to see how the cases and the particular lesson that the professor is teaching you at that moment fits into the grander scheme of things. Like either a unit or like a particular style of arguing your case. And that's like really helpful when you're reviewing at the end of the year. You get to see how the pieces fall into place in relation to other pieces and other lessons, and that's the big takeaway that you're supposed to have by the end of the semester. So my classes are late in the evening. They start around 6 p.m. And typically, I'm kind of a night owl, so I do go to sleep very late, like usually around like 3 a.m. I'm trying to edit this so it sounds a little bit better. Around 3 a.m. and I wake up around like 10 a.m. Get ready. I'm also a 1L rep in some student organizations, so I try to get to school around like 12 p.m. because that's when a lot of these meetings start. For student orgs, and I try to attend and be present. And then typically they serve lunch, which is great because that saves me a lot of money as a struggling student. So I grab lunch at these events, and then I go to the library and try to get some of my readings done before class from like 2 to 6. And then I try to pick up something quick from like a cafe nearby for dinner. And then I eat in class, and usually that goes from 6 to 9 p.m. And I get home around 10, and then I try to relax and just kind of like not think about law school for a bit. And then I just try to do some readings around like 12 a.m. to like 2 or 3 a.m. And that's how my day ends. Ooh. My everyday bag has a slim pencil case from Muji with my favorite pens and highlighters, and I try to keep it simple and monochromatic. It has my iPad, which I use for readings. It has my new laptop that is a lot lighter than my old laptop that I can use for taking notes and studying. And it has my cosmetics bag because I like being put together. I mean, it's like confidence in a way, especially when I'm doing like meetings or like impromptu networking events. I need my lip gloss.
Impressions matter.
Yeah. On weekends, I try to reserve one day for archery, which is like one of my hobbies, and I just try to get out and get some fresh air. I go to a range in East Queens. They're all very nice over there, and it gets like my upper body workout done, which I feel like a lot of us New Yorkers lack because we're always just walking around and not really using our back muscles or shoulder muscles that much. Another thing I do to relax is like bullet journaling and just like fiddling around with stationery and stuff. And once in a while I like going to the opera because I love to sing and I love watching people sing. And yeah, those are all things I love to do to relax. This is pretty easy. Keeping myself accountable. While I was applying to law school, I had quit my job to kind of focus on going to law school full time. And so that resulted in many, many months of break where I just kind of did whatever I want after I got my acceptance letter. So going back into the student life was definitely an adjustment. On one hand, you have like so much freedom because other than like that 3 or 4 hours that you're in class, you kind of get to do whatever you want with your time. But at the same time, it's pretty hard to keep yourself accountable. And sometimes I just like lose myself like scrolling mindlessly on my phone and like, you know, doom scrolling on socials. And I just had like an epiphany like halfway throughout the semester. It's like everybody has like 24 hours in a day, And it's very important to have that work-life balance, and it's very important to give yourself a mental and physical break. But I can spend 2 hours on my phone not really resting, or I could spend 2 hours of like my leisure time, meeting with friends and grabbing food, or like going to the archery range and like getting some shots off, or just like a more productive rest time than just being on my phone. So keeping myself accountable in such a way was definitely an important lesson I learned. I'm looking forward to meeting new people as always. I'm looking forward to strengthening the bonds of the people I've already met in this stage of life. I think it's important to both keep your old friendships going strong and but also open yourself up to new opportunities as to who you can meet in any stage of life. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to my friends and spending time with the people I love and just growing as a person, whether that be like through my personality or through how I am as a student or how I am, in the professional setting as well. So yeah, that's what I'm most excited for.
That's beautiful.